Today is October 19th, and we have Yankees news. Boone is back on a 3-year deal with an option for a fourth, and Brian Cashman addressed the media, answered some questions. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old Jomboy Jake. Recaps galore, weekly awards, stat lines, theme, and hot takes. Get your Yankees news from these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy Jake. Talking Yanks with old Jomboy Jake.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Yanks, brought to you by DraftKings. My name is Jimmy. I got Jake sitting next to me. Producer BBD in the corner. We haven't been around since the Yankees lost. We were waiting on some news. Some coaching news trickled in. We said, I don't know. I don't know. And then when the big news comes and we finally get the post-season press conferences and we get some questions and we get some answers and we get some news. So here we sit, bellies full of Magic Spoon cereal because it's the best cereal. It's guilt-free cereal for adults. It's healthy cereal. You can eat it a ton late night watching the Yankees in your emotions. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving, only 140 calories a serving. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, low-carb. Build your own box, Jake. Custom flavors. Everyone knows that I like the frosted as sprinkles to go over the fruity or the blueberry. Go to magicspoon.com/Yanks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code Yanks at checkout to save $5 off your order. Magic Spoon is so confident their product is backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/Yanks and use the code Yanks to save $5 off. Jake, how are you? And talk about whatever you want to talk about.
James, BBD, everyone live in the chat. It is good to see you guys. It's been a minute. Hope everyone's doing well. Maybe the longest we've gone without doing a Talkin' Yanks since summer of 2017. Is that crazy to say? It's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the last times they lost what the gaps, but it could be.
It's
I would
close.
assume before it became like a company, and like we sold ads for.
Yeah.
So you probably took a big absence at some point after one of the seasons.
Yeah, I would guess it's the longest.
Yeah.
I would
I mean,
guess this is the longest.
It's pretty crazy. If not, it gives the longest a run for its money. So we missed you guys. And I saw one of the first comments today was so dumb how much I've missed these idiots. So glad we can be back for you as well. And, yeah, we had some big news. Well, we were waiting for the final piece of the puzzle. You know, we were waiting for kind of the Cashman presser. We saw some of the hitting coaches. Nevin gone. The question was Boone. The tea leaves for so long were the beat reporters hinting that Boone was going to be back. It made, well, we'll talk about that. It was kind of what was the contract going to be. And we found that out today, and that's probably more the story than anything else. But before we get into that, doing generally well. We've been, watching the postseason. The American League's tough. Red Sox in Houston. And the Rays were in it before that. So we've been in it. It's been a tough watch, and that's where, some people are probably taking the Boone news tougher than others. But doing generally well. Thanks for everyone that's been live streaming with us at night. And, hey, if you're someone who's inconceivable about the Boone news, we just dropped some good Yankees news. David Cohn with a new show on the network. Him, Justin Shackle, you've probably seen him inside a Yankee Stadium, and James Smythe, the Yes Network stats man, towing the slab, pitching with David Cohn, new show on the network. So we're super excited for that. You guys are gonna love that. So hey, if you can't wrap your head around the Boone news, know that Coney and the boys are with JOMBOY Media now. So that's pretty awesome, Jim.
Pretty excited. Pretty excited about that. Cohn is obviously the best. Shackle's awesome. Smythe, knowledgeable. So yeah, go check it out. It's gonna be a lot of pitching. I think they're eyeing up some guests. I will not say who they told us they're eyeing because that would be a fool's errand to get everyone as excited as I am about it. But
so funny because our heads are obviously running rampant with stuff we're gonna do with Cone and Shackle. I'm pretty dead set on getting Smythe and KT Sharp on an episode.
Research battle off,
and maybe it's us two heads up versus them. So that's where my head jumps. But awesome, they're so excited. We're so excited for that. Should we talk some Yanks? How you doing, BBD? King Beebs.
I'm good. Excited for Coney.
Pretty cool. Your
'Cause
friends.
best friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally.
Tight. The boys.
We talked about you when we sat down with him. Did we tell you that?
No, I don't get told stuff.
You get told stuff. I think he
Get
just
told
said
stuff.
that he was like, yeah, where's BBD? I think that was
I'm around.
Friends.
it. Pretty cool. Easily the longest time we've taken off. I just tried to check the last couple of breaks. The Yankees have always hit us with news much quicker than this.
I think the end of your press conferences were probably quicker in previous years, so we at least got.
It's
that
also the
episode
earliest
done.
they've got eliminated
Earliest they've been eliminated.
since in the history of the Talkin Yanks.
Mm.
All right.
Which ties into the news.
Yeah. I don't know. Do we start with just Boone? We have to.
Yeah, I think so.
I put a poll up on the chat. It's got 521 votes right now. I said 3-year deal with an option for Boone, mad, glad, or shrug. Shrug's winning out right now at 58%. And I think that's where I'm at. We've said it a bunch. Like, Boone isn't specifically the problem. The problem was a lot of other stuff. Tying it just to the Boone contract now. They didn't want to look around. They said that if Boone became a free agent, he'd be like hired. He'd be the number one manager sought after. I don't know. They don't know as much as I don't know about that. But 3 years with an option seems like a bit of a fuck you to the fans in their own way, which isn't like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
This isn't happening. You're so off base that we want to shut you up. Not only is he not leaving, we're giving him a longer contract than we initially gave him. Or the same. Which I thought was wild because it doesn't leave them with an out if they need to just completely change everything in 2 years. Like, what 2-year contract? Like, did Boone have leverage to fight for a 2-year contract, to fight for more than that, or they just give it to him? That's the part where I was like, I knew he was coming back. Writing was on the wall. I thought he wouldn't, and then as soon as all the beat reporters started like tweeting, I was like, oh, okay, he's coming back. And then there was like 3 years with an option for a fourth. Like, holy shit, you're really telling all of us to shut up.
Yeah. It's you mentioned the poll, mad, glad, or shrug. Yeah, I mean, I guess here's the thing. Glad is the weirdest option. You know, and that's where things are tough. You know, the Yankees have kind of been on a downhill slope. And again, like, that's where things do get muddled because so much of it is Aaron Boone. Like, Aaron Boone isn't to blame for Gleyber Torres' season, you know? Like, the Yankees couldn't hit all year. That's not really Aaron Boone. But, you know, it's kind of been a downhill trajectory. And you're right, Jim, like the 3-year contract, because that's where my brain was held up in this whole process. It's like, okay, Boone's coming back, but what does it mean? You can't do 1 year because that's just lame duck. Like, that's neither side wants that. When people say which side says no to this trade, both sides. The 2-year, when you think about it, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Like, Boone has done some winning. He doesn't play in the games. The players definitely speak well of him. Like, I think if the players had gone to the front office, that could have opened up another conversation. Or maybe the players just won't talk to the front office.
Judge advocated him for him pretty hard.
Yeah. So, and then, yeah, kind of like you're saying, like, Cashman likes him. Cashman does what Boone asks of him, and Hal doesn't care. So 2 seems like the number, and that's where 3 with an option, becomes pretty wild. I mean, that feels like when Pam finds out Michael Scott's dating her mom, and Michael Scott's like, I'm going to date her even harder. like that's where this kind of doesn't make sense. Because I get it. Like, you're frustrated, and this was a time to move on. Like you said, since we've been doing Talkin' Yanks, this is the earliest the Yankee season is in. And when you got rid of the guy you got rid of before that, took the Yankees to Game 7 of the ALCS against a team that was literally cheating, and that guy had a World Series ring coaching for your organization and playing for your franchise, to move on from him to this guy and then to see kind of less success the 3 years with an option, feels odd. And, you know, we're open with you guys. Every time we've talked to Aaron Boone, he's been more than nice to us. But yeah, the years was the big, like, whoa today.
There's flip side. 3 years, I think it's kind of like just kind of what you give a manager. You can fire them anytime you want. The Yankees are averse to firing lately, so they're kind of
That's
different.
the problem.
They've been weird about that. But in theory, that shouldn't matter.
But
the Yankees have been weird about it, so I don't know. But the flip side, that's what that would be.
They're Disney. They don't fire.
All right, so they got rid of Nevin, Thames. Anyone else?
PJ
Pelletier.
Pelletier.
Is somebody going to help us facilitate this conversation?
Yeah, so some other moves, because they said that they weren't ready with the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to be Roman ready with the new coaching staff. So they made some coaching changes, going to bring in some new people. If you're not ready and you got ongoing ED or you just want to make sure you do or don't, you can get a free online evaluation, ongoing care, all from the comfort and privacy of your home. A U.S. licensed healthcare professional will work with you to find the best treatment plan. If medication is appropriate, it ships to you free. With 2-day shipping, whole process is straightforward and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to GetRoman.com/Yanks, complete an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving home. Complete an online visit today. Connect with a doctor and take care of it. You have a question, Jake?
Kind of.
Okay.
For this Roman, let's say Aaron Boone is your penis.
Okay.
And your penis hasn't been working perfectly.
Uh-huh.
Basically, what Roman is kind of like the new coaching staff around your penis.
Hype man.
You can add Roman and your penis can work better.
Go to GetRoman.com/Yanks now. Get $15 off your first month. There's a straightforward way to take care of ED. GetRoman.com/Yanks. Nevin's gone. Thames gone. PJ Pelletier's gone. The hitting coaches, you had to. It always sucks. Like, I think, you know, you're a sports fan as a young kid and you forget that, like, it is someone's job. And it's like
Jobs, families.
And I'm sure they tried very hard. And they're like, effort, heart, all that's great place. But, I mean, for that offense to be as bad as it was last season, you couldn't run it back. You couldn't.
No.
New voice, new approach. So, I get that. I thought they were going to move Nevin to bench coach or something like that because they might like his fire and energy that he brings as kind of like the hard ass at times. I don't think they could have kept him at third base with, the first 2 years, Nevin was fine as third base coach. He was actually like getting applauded. This year, I mean, he had the slowest team in baseball, and they were always in one-run games where a run could be huge, and there were a lot of outs at home and questionable sends. So I thought he would be off third base. I thought they might move him to bench coach because he was Boone's guy. He was one of the guys that when Boone got hired, it was Bard and Nevin were the two that Boone got to choose to be on his staff. So, so Nevin's out, hitting coaches are out. And it's, I don't know, man, there's something odd about Boone staying and those guys leaving and it not being like a unit of sorts because, I don't know, maybe I just have like old nostalgic memories from Joe Torre and Stottlemyre and Zimmer, and like it was like
Randolph.
a unit, and Randolph, and it was like
stuck around a while,
and it was like that was the crew, and it was like they were a unit, and obviously a lot of teams are just more segmented now, so got to find a new hitting coach, got to find one of these. Got to find the Matt Blake of hitting coaches, like a young guy that's can do, like the Dodgers have all the hitting coaches like Van Scoik and all those others that are like change the approach and work with people. Like a lot of even like we've seen the coaching staff in San Francisco do crazy things with the hitters up there and a lot of reclamation projects that completely have changed their approaches and altered things. Obviously, there's guys that you don't need it to, but
Lee Mazzilli, another guy on those coaching staffs.
Yes.
Kind of iconic coaching staff. I guess you win enough rings. That's
Yeah.
how it works. Yeah, man, the hitting, I keep saying I'm going to do something with it. I might have to figure it out. The people here might know I like Fangraphs, the roster resource page. It really helps you see good snapshots of a team. The Yankees were 13 in OPS this year. I mean, that's, quote-unquote middle of the pack, but A, the NL doesn't use a DH. They have pitchers hit. B, this is the Yankees. This is the Bronx Bombers. This is Yankee Stadium. This is a team that's built around on base and slugging. Like, that's what it was. So, like, I'm not even going to mention that they were 23rd in batting average. They're 13th in OPS. Like, that ain't it, man. So, yeah, I mean, the hitting coach's writing was on the wall. Tim's, we used to have some good laughs at on that, that 2018 fun team where he just told guys to swing hard and it worked for them. Interested to see who comes in. Like you referenced, Jim, it's probably going to be kind of from the Matt Blake school. Like, I'm not expecting someone or someone with experience. It's going to be someone who's revolutionary and changing the game. And by the way, Matt Blake stays because the pitching kind of overachieved this year. So interested to see what goes on there. I mean, we got a couple projects to work on, whether it's Gleyber Torres. We'll see if Gary Sanchez is back. Joey Chi. So we'll see. It's a bummer. Phil Nevin was also crazy nice to us. So, yeah, you wish them the best. And, yeah, I mean, the older you get, I know there's, some of our listeners are 17 and don't care right now. I was listening to Daniel Jeremiah, NFL guy. He was talking about John Gruden the other day because he gets fired for all the racist, misogynist, bad stuff he did. And he said, like, a ripple effect that's super effed on that is that a lot of guys went to coach for Gruden because he had the most job security in the NFL. So, like, their families were actually going to be somewhere. So, yeah, you forget that, a lot of the guys we just mentioned have to meet with their family, and they're going to say, okay, I've got a job offer to do this in Texas. I've got a job offer to do this in Oakland. Where are we going with our 2 kids? That's crazy. So I know we think of them as moving parts and get them out of town. And, yeah, I mean, we're not saying they should necessarily be back, but it's very real life for those people. So I don't know. Let's bring in some gurus, babe. Bring in Blake Matt to be the
expect
hitting
it to
coach.
be people you don't know.
Blake Matt.
I'd be more surprised if it's someone we've heard of.
Exactly. You might know the organization that they come from. You probably just go to top offensive organizations and see who's around.
Yeah.
Probably some guy working on the Dodgers minor league team. Or
Indians returning all their young studs into Cy Young winners. Hey,
Let's get Matt Blake.
who's in those
Who's
walls?
doing that?
Yeah. So I get it. It's just really weird that, like, Boone stays and the coaches go, but what does a manager do?
Mm.
You hear Trevor Plouffe say the coaches do everything. They're the ones that have the meetings with the guys. They're the ones that prep them for the game. They're the ones that are doing all that stuff. So the Yankees definitely felt like they did not have approaches this season at all.
Yeah.
So that's a tough thing.
And I guess if we're trying to spin things to the bright side of the pillow, not a phrase. Aaron Boone taking a 3-year contract with a 4th year is almost surprising. Like, when we started to hear some of these rumors, like, is San Diego interested? And, Aaron Boone's a Cali guy, and I think his family has a place in Arizona a couple hours away. I guess the fact that Aaron Boone is willing to go through what happened this year for the next 3.
Yankees manager, man, so that's a pretty high level job.
Yeah, but it'll turn you gray real quick. It
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
has been Boone. He's got to have
side by sides going.
Yeah,
today.
he's got to have the Girardi pick or the Obama before office, all of those things. So hey, he still wants it. And yeah, I understand your frustration. At the end of the day, it kind of is just a loop of like,
That's not the
Boone
thing.
wasn't out there pitching in the wild card game. Boone wasn't out there swinging the bat for Glaber this year.
Yeah, and then we can go to Cashman's full press conference because he talks about the problems and then gave some other answers that were a little insightful. Because there were problems, Let's see. What do I want to do? We'll do DraftKings.
Let's do some DraftKings.
Guys, you skipped 2 weeks worth of episodes. You got to run some ads.
We got to run a couple.
DraftKings, I made 30 cents yesterday on the Astros-Red Sox game. I placed
Free
10
money.
$1 bets, and I got $10.30 back because I lost 7 of them, and I won 3 of them. Free money, 30 cents.
Free money.
Do that every day. Rich as shit. You can do that too. You can bet $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. That's what they gave us, or we did one of these promotions and got the $200 in free bets, and I'm just having fun with it responsibly. If the sportsbook isn't available in your state, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy sports contests. They're also giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code JOMBOY. Bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and win $200 in free bets. If they do, you win with promo code JOMBOY this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. An official sports betting partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or PA. Only new customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Cashman admitted they weren't athletic. They need speed. They need contact. And they need a more athletic roster. So Boone has a little more pieces to move. He said that Glaber, they need to get a shortstop, and Glaber is not a shortstop, and he'll be a second baseman. So talk is cheap, but hearing those things be confirmed from the guy who makes all the decisions is at least one step in the right direction. At least one. Like, first step, acknowledge it, admit it to the public. Then do they actually do anything about it?
Yeah, and so, something we haven't talked about here too much. I mean, we've got the looming CBA, so you'll probably hear us mention stuff like that a little bit going forward. We'll see if we get baseball and a natural free agency and everything going on. But, yeah, I know everyone knows kind of about the shortstop market coming up. Seager, Correa, Javi Baez, Trevor Story. Interested to see if the Yankees actually throw their hat in that mix. I mean, it's pretty crazy when you go up and down the Yankees lineup. I mean, Stanton is Stanton. He's going to be kind of the DH and 5th outfielder to a degree. Judgy is going to judge. Joey Gallo, we're assuming, is coming back. Aaron Hicks should be back. We'll find out what's going on behind the dish with Gary. That's going to be a decision. But, yeah, Glaber at second. The real decision comes with DJ LeMahieu, who for next year you're looking at him as first base / third base, depending what goes on with Voit and Gio. So the shortstop position is open. There's a couple big fish out there. Interested to see. I mean, they were under the luxury tax this year. They should be able to get a guy. They also love their young shortstop, so it could be more stopgappy than that. That's gonna be kind of the storyline of this Yankees offseason. Outside of that, lineup-wise, there's not too much. I mean, you would love if they added. When they originally brought on DJ, the whole thing was he was supposed to be kind of the utility guy. He was going to play 5 out of 7 games, blah, 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 all that. They almost need that again, but an athletic version of DJ. Like, DJ can still play second, first, third when you need it. They kind of need the go version of that. There's going to be injuries. So interested to see. I mean, Chris Taylor's a free agent, but every team is going to have him on their wish list, especially after what Kike's doing this postseason. So there's only so much flexibility in the lineup, and you hope they can add some like bench pieces too, because the bench got super weak at the end of this year. Interested to see, and yeah, I mean, Joel Sherman, who was screaming that earlier this year that the Yankees were slow and not athletic enough, he gets a point, and he gets a point today for kind of coming at Cash in the presser today.
Yeah. I mean, I like Seager. I'd like Seager.
It's we got a lot of time to talk about it. Yeah, I think we'd like any of those guys. Like that would be the first step, and then we can see who we really want.
They just need so many guys. I think Seager's going to be less expensive than Correa, and he bats lefty. Glaber being a shortstop means DJ isn't a short. But Glaber
Second.
being at second means DJ is not at second, which makes me think that the DJ is going to be at first. And then they just and he said we need a shortstop, so I think that's going to be where they look first is shortstop. So there's a lot of options, obviously. Story, Seager. I mean, Simeon.
Marcus.
If you're looking for athleticism,
Yeah.
who is it? Story.
Yeah, I mean, Story's a pretty crazy athlete. We interviewed him on Talkin Baseball, and they sent over his stats like he was a running back. So he prides himself on his athleticism. I mean, Simeon, he swiped 15 bags this year and hit 45 home runs. And he's a little older than the other guys. So that's where we can have some fun Yankee conversations this offseason, because they like their two young shortstops. Peraza, who's in Double-A this year, apparently picks it at an MLB level, and he can slap it around a little bit. And then Volpe, the kid from Jersey, people are a little nervous about him staying at shortstop, but everyone loves him, and he's kind of just a stud. He's just young. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, Seager, Correa, you're going to have to lock those guys up for a long time. And, you know, we've talked about earlier this year, even Seager probably slides to third. A lot of shortstops end up sliding somewhere. You know, if they can get Simeon for big money for 3 years instead of giving someone 6, does that change things? It's going to be interesting. That part of the Yankees offseason should be fun. No idea where it lands. No idea if the CBA ties in. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of their one big move this offseason, right?
And Cashman,
Unless they surprise us with another starting pitcher, but
Well, they're going to try and trade Voit. They're probably going to try and trade Gary and Gio.
I think those will feel
look
big
into
on
it.
our end, but I just don't know what's coming back, you know?
But something like you're saying, we need bench pieces. We need all this.
Yeah.
I'd like them to not spend any money on the bullpen. Is that fair? Like if they're not gonna spend a lot. Cashman defended the Steinbrenners and said something like, "It's ridiculous that they get." He said, "I hate to say it, but how dare anybody question when somebody commits the amount of dollars the Steinbrenner has?" And yeah, I mean the Yankees are the second or third highest payroll in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Problem is they used to be the gap between them and like the teams that didn't spend was big, and now it's closing, and they're just have spent in the wrong ways a couple times. But it sounds like they're not going to go spend like crazy, and like they don't need to spend like crazy. They just need to get athletes and contact, and that's what Cashman said. Those were the words. We need some athleticism and some contact. He talked about how they got Rizzo in for that reason. But they need to get more people in. And, like, look at the bullpen. The bullpen was good down the stretch. And I mean, there was none of the free agents. Chapman was the guy. And then, I mean, it was...
Plaza, Chad, Clay, Peralta.
They traded for those guys, and they're all haven't reached the free agency yet. I mean, even, like, Litke
had a huge year.
Litke had a huge
Technically
year.
a free agent, but...
But, you know, not spending money.
Yankees and
But that's been their strategy for a while. They spent big on the bullpen.
Yeah, and that's I talked about it a lot at the end of last season. It was kind of, if there's one thing you can circle that was, I don't want to say outdated, but, you know, when you look at Chapman and Britton, and the reason it was a conversation last year, Ottavino, the amount of money the Yankees had in their bullpen at the end of last season compared to other teams was wild. Other teams don't even view bullpens that way from everywhere we've heard around the league. So that was the one area where I think baseball moved faster around the Yankees. Because, I was kind of on my get rid of Chapman last year because, A, to get rid of that money, and B, there's some other. I don't want our season to end on Chapman again, and C, some more personal reasons. But, it doesn't feel like there's massive change. I mean, they're going to root for Severino to come back and be healthy next year. Hopefully Cole to be healthy by the end of the season next year. It's hopefully an impact player at shortstop, some bench pieces, something changing on the corner infield, and that could just be DJ at first and Gio at third. It's going to be the Gary, Voit, all of that.
Yeah, and then we did get a bunch of injury updates, and those are brought to you by Manscaped. Don't use a rusty and bad razor and injure yourself while you're trimming your nether regions. Use Manscaped. You won't get the nicks. You will unlock your confidence in the Performance Package 4.0, the holy grail of men's grooming needs. They've made it easy for you to upgrade the grooming routine. It includes a weed whacker, a total game changer to your men's hygiene. It includes crop preserver, crop reviver, some boxers, a shed travel bag. Perfect gift for yourself or for someone you know that doesn't take care of their private parts and the hair that grows around there. And everyone knows you got someone in your life, probably an uncle. Just think about it. It's gross.
You were at a family pool party one year, and you jumped in and just saw too much.
Yeah, too little. All you saw was hair.
Shave your bush.
For your uncle. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Yanks at manscaped.com. 20% off plus free shipping with code Yanks at manscaped.com. Say trick or treat to your beautiful new Halloweeny with Manscaped.
What was that last part? Could you just say that again?
Say trick or treat to your beautiful new Halloweeny with manscaped.com. The biggest injury news is that Jameson Taillon ankle, I don't know what they even said, but it's messed up, and he has to get surgery, which is going to put him out 5 months, which I think is going to delay him going into next season. I would expect a May start for him. But he pitched on it, so he's just a gamer.
Yeah, he remember that last that regular season game where he kind of did it, and we love JMO. Hopefully we'll link up with him at some point this offseason. I mean, his offseason just changed with a massive ankle surgery. So the 5 months and it being an ankle, he should be able to do some throwing stuff. So it'll be interesting to track where he's at through spring training, probably start of the season. You're going to need arms anyways. Hey, maybe it turns into a blessing in disguise and he's fresh come October. But that was the biggest news. Everyone else, I think, the DJ news had kind of already been out there. What was it? Gio did something that had him 8 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah, it seemed like he had something. Everyone else, it sounds like, is ready for spring training, but JMO was the big one and the most surprising one.
Tilo won't be ready for the start of the season. It sounded
ACL.
Like. Yeah.
That adds
Hicks might be playing winter ball, so that's kind of fun. We can track him and see how he looks, and not even like stats, just like how he looks in the outfield.
Yeah,
because we've seen 2 different versions of Hicks in the outfield.
Cashman said he's at least been asking about it a lot. Wants to.
Yeah. So nothing crazy, I guess. The JMO one is the biggest one that impacts next season. You might be without him for the first month of the year. Hopefully Sevy, Herman, Monty,
Nestor.
Got Nestor.
There's
be around.
There's ways to do it. We talk about it every year. You're going to need 8 starting pitchers or so to get through a season. So hopefully you can pencil out the first 3 weeks and then JMO's good to go. Baseball doesn't usually work like that.
Yeah. All right, there's some other stuff we can do. I don't think we have to do it today, though. All the arbitration numbers are very interesting, I think. That's a conversation we have at a later date.
Arb life.
Yankees have so many ARB guys.
So many. I mean,
Baby Bombers.
19. I think it's 19 guys up for arbitration.
Are those the
that's the number I
estimated you
saw.
have on the screen right now?
Those are estimates.
19. Yeah, and these are estimates of what they're going to get.
19 guys, and you get a 26-man roster. It's a big number.
Some math.
I don't know what the typical number is, but it is a 19.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And some guys look at non-tendered and all that. But
Some people on this list are going to get traded, and some are going to get non-tendered, and some are going to get picked up. And the biggest outliers are Gary Sanchez at $8 million. Do they want to pay him that? You also have Gio making 6.2, Voit making 5.4, Clint making 2.5. He's not even in the top 4 outfielders, so I just don't see them picking that up. I think Clint's going to get non-tendered. I don't think you're going to pay $2.5 million for a guy that's going to start in AAA. Andujar making 1.7. That's another interesting one.
Yeah. No, it's
probably do a full discussion on it soon.
yeah.
Yeah, well,
There's interesting points.
There's a lot of bodies up there.
and more people are going to come naturally. So
Yeah.
And I don't know how many 40-man spots they want to just clear. Because
Yeah.
you just
Right.
need the space to add people.
Gary, of all those names, I think Gary's the one you circle. We had it half circled last year. He did kind of enough, and you'd have to check out the catcher free agency pool / who's out there. And this is what we always tell you guys. There's not a ton. We'll see. I don't know. $8 million for 1 year, Gary Sanchez. Now, the more I see it and think about it, I wouldn't be shocked if he's back. I know you've been pushing for more competition from the backup catcher. That's interesting, but also the Higgy factor there.
It's not
We'll
like
see.
they're catching prospects. They have a bunch that I think they like, but they're all still at least 2 years away.
if you want athleticism and contact, well, then you got to get rid of a lot of guys, not just one guy. You can't just bring in a shortstop and be like, oh, we got another athleticism and contact guy.
Fixed.
That's nice.
Because currently there's if like DJ, Gio, and Glaber are your infield, well, that's 3 athletic positions where you don't have athletic guys.
You could
in
have
terms of stealing, bases taken, all that stuff.
Glaber ran a little bit. You could circle Glaber and say he could,
Relative to
in
their
a good
position,
year, he can
Changes
check
it
that
up a little.
box. He ran this year because he couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And his contact when he started playing second base. So he's the one you could circle. DJ can give you contact.
Become that guy.
Cashman did say that he does think a lot of DJ's struggles this year were due to injury stuff, which easy enough to say.
Has to be.
Easy enough to say, and does check out. It passed the eye test a little bit.
And just what we saw the 2 years before, was he quite that? Is he supposed to be quite that? I don't know. Between these two extremes.
I'm in a mental Chris Taylor wormhole right now, but I think every damn team is going to be this free agency.
I didn't know he was a free agent until you said it, and now I'm in that as well.
He's got to look pretty weird with no beard.
Oh, so weird. He's mouthless.
He doesn't not look a little weird with it.
Yeah, but I mean that beard is helping.
It's
him out
helping.
a
Chris
lot.
Taylor shaved.
Clean
Let's
shaven.
see. Be funny if he's not a free agent. I just streamed that.
There you go. Oh my God! What the hell, dude? When
Got a pick?
well, yeah, but when look, so it's like a GIF.
Oh, wow. Oh, it's better than I thought.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
He kind of, without the beard, know what his biggest thing is? He looks like a relief pitcher.
Yeah,
Like, Chris Taylor shaved looks like a relief pitcher that throws 70%
it's great there. Actually, I take it
sliders.
back.
So maybe he needs that Yankee boost.
Yeah, he's versatile.
We'll start this year.
Agile, versatile, hostile.
All right, I don't know if we're coming back with regularity yet because I got a baby that's going to be delivered in like any.
We're still talking baseball, playoff stuff every
Yeah,
day.
the World Series baby. I'm going 3 weeks off as soon as the baby comes. But we will be back probably, I think November 1st, actually, we have to be back to twice a week or once a week. But we'll be back regularly, and then that's when we can start deep diving into all this shit, overanalyzing stuff, and all that. But
free agents, like we said, Coney, Smythe, and Shackle on the team. We got some sources there. You guys know Caster's always a friend, a lot of the beat reporters. So we'll keep you up to date. Arbitration happens first. I think it's arbitration, then you start sneaking up on CBA stuff. So,
I mean, literal arbitration happens in like February, but the decisions of whether or not you're going to go and keep guys, I think that's due on the 2nd, but the CBA's up on the 1st, so nobody knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy times.
wild and crazy stuff. Wild.
My biggest, I don't think I said this back on the Cashman press conference.
Say it.
And my biggest pain point or like bugaboo or pet peeve is they asked Cashman about like the early departure from the season or whatever. And everyone keeps saying, well, we had our best pitcher out there for the wild card game, and the wild card game is a one-game playoff. And it's like, that's not the question. The question isn't why did you lose the wild card game. The question is why were you the away team in the wild? The failure is that you were the away team in the wild card.
Why were
game.
you in the wild card game? Why were you the away?
They're
team?
actually now using the one-game elimination as hitch or like an excuse.
Yeah.
And the question is, why were you the away team in the wild card game? But they're all leaning on the fact that, well, it's a one-game playoff, and we had our best pitcher on the mound, and we were trying our hardest, and, you know, Boston just had a better plan. Like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Why were you the away team in the wild card game?
If you won,
Why
one,
did you?
about that game.
Why did you lose so many games to bad teams? And they keep leaning on the streakiness as something that's unavoidable and just happened, and they had to deal with. Like he was like, Boone's had to deal with a lot of things with the injuries in 2019 and this and the streakiness of the team this year. It's like, hold up. That's a problem, not an excuse. Like, that's not, you know, it rained, so you had to deal with the rain. Like, the streakiness isn't an answer or an excuse, and they keep leaning on the one-game wild card, and, well, we were a streaky team. It's like
the streakiness
problems,
stuff,
not answers.
You can use that as, like, your excuse for, like, why you still believe in Boone or whatever phrasing you want to use. But that's not, like, good for, like, Cashman, the people put together the team and everything else.
That's what Trevor always kind of asks us with a wrinkled brow. He's like, wait, all of the stuff you guys are mad at should be mad at Cashman. Like, the team was streaky, they didn't put the ball in play, they weren't athletic, and it's kind of like, So, I don't know. You win one game against the Tigers or Orioles this year instead of a loss,
they didn't.
And you have the wild card game at home. And by the way, postseason baseball is a funny thing. I definitely don't think they'd have the same energy, but the Boston Red Sox that were in that game with us are looking like the favorites to go to the World Series right now. Atlanta Braves, who had a season that was kind of similar to the Yankees, just in a shit division, they look like the NL favorites right now. So that's one of those things you get caught in a loophole because that can actually be an argument for the other side. But this didn't happen to you.
Yeah.
You lost again, and it's bad.
Anyone that misses us, someone at the start in the chat said, I miss these idiots. We are still very active. It's not Talkin' Yanks, and there's a lot going on at the company. Obviously, David Cohn has a podcast on the network. Episode 1 is out right now. Towing the Slab. Towing the Slab is the name of it. We have JM Baseball still has daily episodes with Chris Rose and Trevor Plouffe. Talkin' Baseball, we are doing live streams every night. You can hang out with us if you're watching the game. We leave the chat open. We interact with people. We have a lot of fun. We have JM Gaming. Joe's McFly, Yankee fan, you know of him, is starting the gaming section of the company. And we have a tournament of us all playing the same video game from 1989. A new episode of that is coming out every single day. Among a ton of other shit. So obviously the company's getting big and we have a ton of properties. So go pick and choose and find what you like. We also have John Boy Jake Radio coming tomorrow, midday. We'll be live, and that's a silly time. So appreciate you. We'll be back when we're back. I might be away when we come back. I may not.
Mm.
We'll react to news whenever news happens. Then we eventually will get into our off-season schedule, which is it Tuesdays and Thursdays, or is it Mondays and Wednesdays?
Last offseason we did Monday, Wednesday. I'd prefer Talking Yanks be Tuesday, Thursday. We got to talk about it.
We're
We'll
gonna figure
talk
it
about
out.
it.
So
We'll
we don't know
figure it
yet.
out.
All right. Appreciate each and every one of you.
Love you guys.
Let's get athletic and let's get some contact.
Should we get athletic this offseason?
Thinking about just walking on the treadmill.
You're
going
gonna
to
get some back bicep strength this offseason.
holding the baby.
Wow. That's huge.
Dude, I actually Googled like the band routine for my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because like we have plans to play a lot of blitzball in the future.
Yeah.
So I Googled like pitching, shoulder. I just want to do the basics.
Need to maintain.
Talk to Coney.
Got a guy now.
Go Yanks. Tell him, Grams.
Go Yankees.